to get set up for this call with all of this incredible technology that we have. I can tell you right now, there is no reason for anyone not to be informed and not to have access. I think there's so many different ways to connect and get onto this call that we have. But I love the platform that we're using right now, the Zoom platform that goes out to Facebook Live, and then you've got the audio version, and every way possible for you to go out there and get the information that you need to become successful in today's climate and network marketing, specifically here with Organo. I am very excited to be participating on this call. I know we had a great call last week. Edwin Haynes lit it up. I think the week before then we had Emmanuel Super E Bernstein. Both of those guys just did a tremendous job with Bernstein, I think, doing the final call of the year. Edwin Haynes doing the first call of the year. And I was actually planning to do that first call, but I was away in Mexico and didn't want to chance it having bad connection. But, I can tell you one thing, there was no person better to have than Edwin Haynes to set the stage for what needs to be done in 2019. Tonight's call, or to this morning call, no matter where you are, really is going to be driven towards setting up mentally, getting mentally prepared for 2019. I don't know if you remember, but about a year ago, we started talking about having a 2020 vision. And that was in 2017. At the end of 2017, November, we start talking about getting prepared for 2 years of having and developing a 2020 vision into the year 2020. And if you don't know it, or if you don't believe it, 2020 will be here just before you know it. When I look back on 2018, it went by so fast. It went by like lightning fast. And if you think about it, look at it right now. We're already January the 13th. We are already halfway through the first month of the year already, first month. And once you get past the first month and then you get into February, which is going to be a short month, it just starts to go by very, very quickly. And so one of the things that we really want you to be able to do is seize the moment, understand exactly where you are right now, understand exactly where your team is right now, understand exactly where Organo is right now at this moment, so that you can be able to maximize and get maximum results and lead into 2020 with a major bang. And that's really what it's all about when we're talking about going into the 2020 season, the year 2020, with the major bang. 2019, here's the thing I want you to understand. For 2018, let's go back in retrospect here for a second, okay? And I'm not going to give you any fluff. I think 2018 was not a great year all over the board, okay? When I just look at 2018, and specifically from a business standpoint, a lot of transition took place in 2018, a lot of, just mingling, a lot of things, just different stuff that was going on in the lives of so many people, not only in business, but just as a year as a whole. 2018 wasn't the biggest or the best year. I've talked to a lot of people, even some friends of mine that are not a part of network marketing, some who are, but not a part of Organo. And they just told me the same thing. They said, man, 2018 was just a year of what they call a year of survival, a year of survival. Some of you who are out there right now, I might be speaking right to you. You're probably sitting there like, yep, I was just surviving in 2018. And it's okay. It's okay, because you know what? It would be superficial of us for us to be able to say every year is going to be absolutely incredible. It just doesn't work that way. If you've ever taken a look at, the S&P 500, if you've ever taken a look at just the trends of the stock market itself, every year is not always up. Every year is not growing above what it was the last year. Some years it's just like, hold on to your stocks or liquidate what you can liquidate, and get ready for the following year. That's how it works sometimes. That's how it works sometimes in life. When I just take a look at it, the year specifically in North America, politically, wasn't a great year. Socially, a lot of things were changing, whatever it may be. Technology-wise, things are advancing, and we're replacing technology over and over and over. And I think 2018 was a year of what I call being steadfast. That means that I want you to be able to check off a major check off on your list. If you survived 2018, wasn't a horrible year, but if you survived 2018 and you are here and you still got life, you still got breath in your lungs, and I'm talking about breath in the lungs of your business as well. Obviously, if you're on this call, you've got life. But if your business still has some sense of a pulse, you need to go ahead and celebrate because I can tell you right now, a lot of people that I talk to don't have the same experience. That many of them, their business doesn't have any life. It doesn't have a pulse whatsoever. And so one of the things I like to celebrate is being able to overcome. Being able to overcome, because sometimes in life, we have no idea how good we have it until you talk to someone who's had it worse. And that's sometimes when we have a chance to really appreciate what it is that we have our hands on, is when you start to realize, wow, this person here, this is what they went through, and this, and it's not about finding somebody who's doing worse than you, but I want you not to be so hard on yourself, because sometimes what happens is we compare ourselves to the best that we've ever done before. And right now you may be giving your best, but you may not be getting your best. And so you're comparing your receiving results today in comparison to the receiving results that you had yesterday, and they're not aligned. They're not aligned. And so it works that way sometimes. And so I can tell you this, even from my own perspective. I looked at years that I didn't have to work as hard, and I did more and had more results. And I look at a year like last year when I worked even harder last year, and I didn't have the same type of successes that I wanted to have. And I'm like, okay, now it's time for me to go ahead and adjust, make sure that I keep swinging the bat in 2018. As long as I keep swinging the bat, I know I have a chance at the home run. As long as I keep swinging the bat, I know that I have a chance at the base hit. And so the thing that I want you to understand is, no matter how it looks for you at the moment, no matter how oblique your goals may look, no matter how distant they may look away from you, keep swinging the bat. You keep swinging the bat. See, one of the things that I can guarantee you is this. In life, they say there's not many guarantees, but HB is going to make you a guarantee. HB is going to guarantee that you'll strike out every time. That means that you'll come up to the batter's box. You will stand there in that batter's box, and every single time you'll never get to first, second, third, or come back home if you don't swing. That's a guarantee. If you don't swing that bat, it's 100% chance. If that pitcher is throwing strikes, and see, life throws you enough strikes. If that pitcher throws you strikes, you are going to go right back to that dugout if you don't swing the bat. And so what I've always learned is, no matter what, if I can't see the ball, I'm going to swing the bat. I'm going to swing the bat. Make sure you keep swinging. 2020 is going to be here before you know it. You don't want to start swinging in 2020. In 2020, you want to be celebrating. You want to be celebrating. And so for those of you who came so close, and maybe you said, you know what, man, I got so close to my goals, but I didn't get there. Or some of you says, man, I'm so far away from my goals, it doesn't matter. You just keep stepping into that batter's box. You keep swinging the bat. And I promise you, if you keep swinging the bat, at some point in time, you're going to connect. You are going to make that connection. You know, we have a saying that even a broken clock is right 2 times a day. And so I want you to look at the positive side of life, look at the positive side of your business, that you've got still some life in your business. If you've got one person still paying an auto ship in your business who's selling coffee, I promise you, you are much better than the person who has nobody else in their organization, and they're about to, they're just wondering what's going on in their organization as well. And so always look that there is a positive side, because it's very easy. It was very easy for me to look back and focus on all the things that didn't go right for me in 2018. But I had to look back and take personal inventory and take a look and say, okay, what were the things that I did accomplish? What were the books that I read? Did I read any books? What were the audios that I listened to? that I developed some new habits. Maybe I didn't get my results. And 2018 may not be the year of results for you. But I can tell you one thing, if you keep swinging that bat, 2019 can be the year of results. 2020 can be the year of results. You know my story. 7 years, no results. But I kept swinging the bat. As a matter of fact, I never knew that I was striking out. All I knew is that it took 7 years to get a base hit. That was the mentality that was inbred in me, and that's why I never got tired of swinging the bat. Even though I was not even getting I was not getting doubles. I got a base hit probably once a year. And I thought that that was normal. Thought it was normal to have a base hit maybe once a year, that I sponsor a new person or a person does some volume that I sponsor. And then because I kept swinging the bat, what happened is I started to develop this attraction to people who was ready to connect with my swing. I didn't get more talented. I already had the talent when I was only making $500 a month. The talent had just not connected in the right environment up until that time. But having the talent and not swinging the bat gives you a guaranteed ticket back home, whereas there's no action. Stay out there in the field, stay in the battle. Tonight's call, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to talk about being able to raise the bar so that you can actually see bigger in 2020. So that you can actually imagine results much bigger than what you have right now. Because here's the thing. Some of you specifically as a leader, and a leader just means I've got at least one person in my organization who is following my lead. And one of the things I can tell you is this, is that your group and the size and the growth of your group will be in direct proportion to your belief level, When your belief starts to dwindle, the group's belief starts to dissipate. So when your belief starts to grow and your belief starts to raise, the group's belief starts to get stronger, okay? Why am I on this call? Because I know I got text messages from people saying, hey, listen, you know what? The group needs an injection of a little bit of HB. Why? Because they know if I get on the call and they get all of the medium believers and non-believers and those who even had a bad year in 2018, and they tie into my belief, what happens is they start to believe just a little bit more. Just a little bit more. My belief doesn't solve all the issues and the challenges, but they believe just a little bit more. Just a little bit more. See, every time I pop in that tape, and every time I pick up the books of one of my mentors, I believe just a little bit more. But every time I'm out there on the island and I stop swinging that bat called personal development, I get out of personal development and I stop working and I stop reading, I stop doing all the things that I know are good for me, my belief goes from here and it starts to dwindle. And what I want you to understand about belief as it grows and as it dwindles, you don't recognize it. See, belief that's growing, you don't recognize it when your belief is growing because it's just like a baby. It's just like a baby. You don't notice that it's growing. You just wake up one day and it's normal for you. You know, I look at my fish here behind me and those big albino sharks that you see behind, when I got them, they were this small. And I was standing here today as I do some meditation sometime, looking into this aquarium because it's so peaceful for me. And I couldn't even imagine how small those fish were when I first got them. Why? Because I never saw them grow. The only way that I know that those fish have grown is either I would have measured them before or I have people who saw the fish when I first got them and they missed their growth period. And then those people come back and says, wow, look how big those fish have gotten. And then I'm able to relate back, yeah, they have grown, haven't they? I never knew that they were growing. I never come up every single day and watch the fish grow. You don't ever see your little plant that you plant. You don't see it grow. The only way you notice that it grows is you plant it it's maybe comes up 2-3 inches out of the ground, and you come back later on, maybe 6 months later, and you see the big difference. But what I'm telling you is your belief lives inside of you. It lives with you. So there's no distance that you have from it so that you can measure it. The only way that it's measured is other people are going to come around you and tell you, wow, you're so positive now. Man, you've made a change. Wow. Your group's going to look at you and they're going to notice the difference in your tone. They're going to notice the difference in your behavior. They're going to notice the difference in your posture. They're going to notice the difference in your stand. And so when that group grows, that belief grows, trust me, your group notices it. They're going to see it in your eyes, and they can look at your eyes and they can tell that you're congruent with your belief. Ladies and gentlemen, just as I'm talking about belief, there's also a thing called disbelief. And when that belief of yours starts to dissipate, they notice it too. They notice that when they ask you a question about the business, that you're not strong in your stance, that you can't answer with absolute certainty the way that you did before. They notice that you don't give them as much eye contact. Why? Because maybe you're losing a little bit of your belief. They notice that your handshake is not as firm. They notice that you don't talk about how fired up you are as much. They notice that you don't have anyone else in the organization that you're edifying about who's coming on, who's the next person that's pushing ahead to be the next, pen breaker, the next VIP, the next, platinum elite, the next sapphire. They notice that you don't have any of that conversation. You don't recognize that your conversation has changed. You don't recognize that you're now focusing more on complaints, condemning. Okay? You don't notice that. The people around you do. And so, as I mentioned that, the success and the growth of your group is going to be in direct proportion to your belief. To your belief. And so I want to talk to you about raising the bar. B-A-R. Raising the bar so that we can get ourselves prepared for 2020. That 2020 vision that we're talking about there. Raising the bar. The B stands for belief. I'm just talking about that belief right now. And I want to share a few things with you about belief and how you actually can grow your belief. I want you to understand that belief is an imaginary muscle. Belief is an imaginary muscle. You say, well, imaginary muscle. What do you mean imaginary muscle? Your muscles can actually grow, and your muscles can atrophy. They can actually decrease in size as well. Why? Because it's designed for expansion. That muscle has a certain elasticity to it that it can actually expand. It's not a fixed thing. Your brain is one size. It's designed to really be that size when you become an adult for the rest of your life. It's designed to be that way. Normally, our teeth, when we become adults, our teeth are designed to be that size for the rest of our lives. The teeth don't continue to grow. There's no exercises that you can do to say, hey, listen, I'm going to start chewing on chicken bones a lot more. I want to grow my teeth. Doesn't work that way. The size of your teeth you have right now is going to be the same size. Okay? It's just going to be the same size from now until, right? But the muscles that you have, these muscles that you have, you've got complete control over your muscles. And I never forget, what made me make a change one day is this was maybe about 4 or 5 years ago. 4 or 5 years ago, if you go out there and you look on Facebook, if you go back and look at any of the Organo events that we did 4 or 5 years ago, this was pre-OGX days. Let me say it that way. It was pre-OGX days. What do I mean pre-OGX? It means that I wasn't in the best shape, if you will. Wasn't in the best shape. Face was a little bit round and pudgy, and I noticed that my suits fit a little differently back then. I wore baggier clothes because it hid a lot of the not so good stuff that I wasn't taking care of. And one day I was going to take a shower, and as I walked past the mirror, headed into the shower, I did a double take. And I'm walking into the shower, and I look over and I do that double take, and I didn't like the guy I was looking at in that mirror. Who's this guy? How did he get in my house? Why is he in my shower? Why is he in my bathroom? And I stopped right then and there on the floor, and I did 25 push-ups. 25 push-ups. And why did I do 25 push-ups? Because I couldn't do 26. That was the reason I did 25. I did as many as I could do, 25 push-ups. And from that day on, I started doing sets of 25 push-ups every day, multiple sets of push-ups, until I was doing upward sometimes of 1,000 push-ups a day. Because, 1,000 push-ups a day. But now remember, in the beginning, I started off at 25. Why? Because my muscles, the belief that I had in these muscles, remember, belief is imaginary muscles. But my physical muscles had a memory. And it only remembered enough practice, or the lack thereof, that it could only perform 25 repetitions of a push-up. And that's what I did, 25. And the next day, guess what I did? 2 sets of 25. So I did 50. The next day, guess what I did? I did 4 sets of 25. I got up to 100 push-ups in a day. Do 25, I'll take a break, 25, take a break, and then later on in the evening, another 25, take a break, another 25. And I come back, and after about a week, I can now do 35 all at one time. Not 25, 35 all at one time. And now I'm doing 3 sets of 35, and I can do 100 now in the morning, and I can do another 100 at night, because I do 3 sets of 35. And I kept doing that, and then I would do 3 sets of 100. Now I'm doing 300, because I do a set in the morning, set in the afternoon, set in the evening. And what I did is I controlled my entire environment. Why? Because I'm now starting the process of growing my belief level. And what I would do is sometimes when I was watching a sports game, and I love my sports. And every time there was a commercial, I would make sure that I get me 2 sets in. And so every time a commercial came, and that's how I got up to doing 1,000 push-ups a day. What I noticed is when I looked in the mirror, to me, I didn't look any different, except I liked what I saw. I didn't see the weight come off. I didn't see all of that. The only way I knew that I was losing weight is when I put the pants on and the pants fit differently. But my body, I'm with me every day, so I didn't notice it every single day. And then I got to the point where I was able to do 50 at a time, and now I do them in sets of 100. So I drop down now and I do 100 push-ups all at one time. And then I'll take a break, I'll do another 100 push-ups all at one time, collapsing time frames. And what happened is these muscles started to expand. These muscles was gaining belief. But what happened was this. See, all these muscles that I'm working, the muscles that I was working, they're attached to other body parts that I wasn't working out. That was my group. And so my group recognized that these muscles was growing. And so my other muscle said, wow, hold on for a second. I've got to fall in line. He can't have big arms, big chest, and a big stomach. This stomach's got to flatten up, and these abs got to get tight. And all of that stuff started working synergistically until I would stand in the mirror, and then I look overall fit. But I wasn't working out on my legs. I wasn't working out on other things, but everything came together. It's no different than how I made a decision in network marketing. Many of you probably don't know the story, and I'll share this story with you here. Talking about belief here. Belief. I've been struggling in network marketing for the better part of maybe 9 years. When I say struggling, 7 years I was struggling. I didn't know I was struggling. Okay. I was unconsciously incompetent. I didn't even know that I didn't know. But I was also unconsciously competent about a lot of things as well. But I was struggling for the first 7 years, and then a couple of the years I started making a little bit of money, up to $1,000 a month, something like that every now and then. And this is maybe going into, my much later years into the industry. 8 years, maybe 9 years into the industry. And I was involved with the company, and I'm taking this same habit of the results that I accepted, and I'm taking that into that new company. And many people think, well, the key is new company. It's no different than people who belong to a church thinking, well, if I change and go to church over here where all these successful people are, I'm going to get saved faster, or I'm going to get richer, or I'm going to be more prosperous. No, it's the same things you're going to have to do. There's no such thing as what we call geographical cures. You don't change locations in order to become successful, unless your location is toxic. Okay? But just the mere fact of changing locations doesn't solve anything for you. And so what happened is, here I am, I'm bringing me with me to the next opportunity. That was the big problem. I was bringing HB, the same guy who wasn't getting results, the same guy whose belief, who had a big mouth, small belief. I would talk the talk. I could stand up just like everybody else at a convention and shout how much I'm going diamond. And when I went out to prospect, my confidence wasn't there. I didn't have diamond confidence. I had stage confidence. You put me in front of a lot of people, I had stage confidence. You put me one-on-one, where it really counts, wasn't there for it. And I didn't know why I wasn't getting those results that I wanted. That's where I was. And here I am. I started this company, and this was in the year 2000, 10 years into my career. And I started off a little bit faster than I had ended up with my previous, tenure. And I was bringing me back into the equation. And what happened to me is I changed. My belief changed. There's two ways to change your belief, ladies and gentlemen. Two ways to make a major modification in your behavior. Because your belief is what's going to dictate your behavior. I'll get to that in a second. I'm listening to a conference called just like the one I'm on right now. But those two ways of changing is to what we call spaced repetition, which means you practice something, you develop a discipline to something over and 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 over again until you have become very good at practicing that discipline. You'll never get perfect, very good and disciplined at practicing that behavior. And what happens is a change will occur. A change will occur. The second way is through emotional impact. That means something is so overwhelming, something crashes your entire world positively or negatively, and it makes you make a change. Let me give you an example. How many of you who've been trying to quit smoking for the last 15 years? Spaced repetition is not going to work for you. But I've had friends who wanted to quit smoking, and next thing you know, had a heart attack. And the doctor said, listen, you take another pack, you're gone. They didn't need to go through a 12-step program. They quit immediately. Why? Emotional impact. And I'm not making light of those who have habits of that they can't break. I'm not making light of that. I'm just giving you a vivid example so that you understand. Okay. How many of you can't swim? And you can teach a person spaced repetition. Put them in the pool day by day, hold them up, let them paddle, hold them up, let them paddle, hold them up, let them paddle, hold them a little bit less, make them paddle, hold them a little bit less, make them paddle, put them in the water, they start paddling and they start stroking, and next thing you know, they're swimming, and they didn't even know that they went from zero to start swimming. Spaced repetition. Other way to learn how to swim is get pushed into the water. You'll learn how to swim. You'll learn how to swim good enough to get out of the water in the majority of cases. So it's spaced repetition or emotional impact. So here's mine. The issue is I didn't know that I needed to change that quick. I didn't know what needed to be changed in me. I would read books and I would grow and I would do that stuff I'd read, but I didn't know really what I needed to change. And so here's what takes place. I never forget, I'm on a conference call. Here's the defining moment in my career, if you want to know. I'm not going to give you the 12-step program or 8 steps to this. I want you to take notes on this because here's what happened. Some of you heard the story before, and I'm on a conference call that I wasn't even supposed to be on. I went to my favorite restaurant called Le Peep, and I meet a guy there, and I'll never forget. His name is James McKnight Jr. He was in that company, and I was in the company. We were cross-lined from one another. And James McKnight Jr. said, "Hey, you're going to be on the call tonight," as he was leaving the restaurant. I'm like, "What call are you talking about?" I don't know about the call. We don't do conference calls. This is the year 2000. We weren't doing conference calls. My team wasn't. My upline, we didn't have calls. He said, "Yeah, there's a conference call tonight." And he gave me the time of the call. And when he gave me the time of the call, let's just say he told me that it was 8:30. Well, the call had actually started at 8 o'clock. So I missed the entire content of the call. I'm getting on the call at 8:30, and all I hear is the end of the call. This is why I don't believe in accidents, because that's all I needed to hear. Still to this day, I've never heard the beginning of the call. The owner of the company or the CEO of the company was just wrapping up the training, the opportunity, and he says, "Ladies and gentlemen, right now I want to introduce you to some people who are making it happen. Some people who join our company and are just making a major difference." And I'll never forget it. I can remember this as I'm in my bedroom now. I can vividly see where I was walking around in my bedroom as I'm listening to this conference call. And he said, "I want to introduce you to some people." And he started introducing person after person. And the person would come and say, "Hey, my name is so-and-so. I've been involved in business the last 30 days. I made in excess of $30,000 first 30 days. Next person, "My name is such and such. I'm a pastor by profession. And my first 30 days, I made in excess of $50,000. And I'll never forget, he said, talked about this lady from Utah. Her name is Gwen Winters. I'll never forget it. "My name is Gwen Winters, and I'm a mother of 5 or 6 kids, whatever it is, stay-at-home mom. My first 30 days, I made in excess of $50,000. And he went on to talk about more other people, and 2 other people, the last ones that I heard, a good friend of mine. He said, "Hey, my name's Troy Mock, and my first 30 days, I made Paul Gravitt. My first 30 days, I made in excess of over $75,000. And then the last one, the guy made in excess of $112,000 his first 5 weeks in the business." Coming from a guy who's never made more than $500 in a month, I was shocked. I was stunned. I had never set a goal to make that type of money because I didn't even know it was possible. And I'm listening to this call, and the issue with me is this. Here's the benefit that I had, is that my belief had been trained for the last 10 years, but I didn't know how to apply it. I had all of this belief built up, but I didn't know what circuit to plug it into, if you know what I'm talking about, until I heard this call. I hear this call. I'm all fired up and excited, and I immediately knew that there was a difference in HP. I never forget, I was in that company. I'm starting off with the same results that I was before, same talent as well. I didn't change talent in 24 hours. The next after I heard that conference call, it was as if names start popping up in my mind of people that I needed to talk to. It was the people that I was afraid who was on my chicken list, that they started appearing, and I start making these phone calls. It was like I would now present the opportunity, and people was wanting to sign up right then and there. Why? Because my muscles, my belief, those imaginary muscles that I call belief, have been affected in such a way that it affected other people as well. And it was because I started surrounding myself with the winners. I started surrounding myself with positive influences through that conference call. And I went on from there, and I never forget, it was 90 days later, I'm at $20,000 per week in income. 90 days later. Why? I changed. Belief expanded, just like that. Just like that. Again, the fish here. I give you an example of the fish. Those same fish that I'm talking about, when I got them, they're this size. But the aquarium that they were in, the holding tank that they were in, was just about a little wider than this. And those fish were 6 months old when I got them. 6 months old. And they're this big, aquarium this big. And they were the only fish of its own species in the tank. So they never saw or witnessed any fish larger than them. I get those fish 6 months after they had already, been around. I bring them over here to the house. 2 weeks later, they tripled in size. Why? Look at the size of that tank. Environment change. Some of you right now, your belief is dwindling because you stay in the same environment, or you recess back to even a smaller environment. Have you expanded your circle? Who is it that you're talking to? I'm not saying you got to go live in a fish tank. I'm not saying you got to go to someone's house who's bigger than yours. What I'm saying is, are you associating with people who've got a bigger dream than you? Are you on a daily basis communicating back and forth with somebody who's got more to offer, more to give than you? Or are you communicating with the same people, and many of them who look up to you? It doesn't work that way. These guys blew my mind. When I heard that was possible, that was when life for HB changed. It wasn't the skill. I knew more about network marketing at that time that I was making $500 a month than most of you know right now who've been in the industry for 20 years. I knew more at that time, but it wasn't about what I knew. It was about how I was going to take these imaginary muscles called belief and apply it. What circuit am I going to plug it into? You tell me. See, we can take the best appliance out there. If you're chopping down trees and you got a saw, I've got a hand saw, and you've got this nice, huge electric saw. Who's going to chop it down faster? The one with the manual saw, or the one that's got this real nice link chain around it, and you just barely touch the tree, and it just sliced through like you're slicing through butter? Who's going to win? Who's going to go through the tree first? All of you probably saying, well, the electric one, right? The electric one. But what if you got the electric one, hey, and it ain't plugged in? It doesn't matter how awesome the saw is. It doesn't matter how awesome the tools are. It didn't matter how awesome my knowledge was. I had not had my knowledge plugged in. And so all I was beautiful potential until I got on that conference call. And what I want you to know is potential does not pay bills, and it never will. Potential won't pay bills. Potential won't put your kids through college. Potential won't put food on the table. Potential won't feed these fish. Potential's not going to do it. You've got to be plugged in. It's got to be plugged in. And when I plugged into that conference call, and then I start noticing, wow, there's people who actually believed that they can make $112,000 their first 5 weeks? I didn't even I'm like, to make $100,000, I'm thinking cumulatively that it was going to take me about 2, 3, 4 years. Cumulatively, that's the belief I had. Same company, same product, same organization, same time. Somebody else believed they can make $112,000 in 5 weeks. Holton Bugs only believed in $500 a week. Do you see why my results were where they were? Because of my belief. It's because of my belief. Those fish, they start bigger tank, bigger environment. All the fish grow fast in this tank. Big tank, much bigger tank than where they come from. And so now the new fish, the baby fish that are in there, they don't know any difference. All they know is, wow, I'm supposed to grow like this. The old fish, they had to learn, they had to relearn, oh, this is what I'm supposed to do. And so some of you, ladies and gentlemen, you're old fish, like I was. I had to relearn who I really am. I had to relearn that I was designed for greatness. I was engineered for success. I was never designed to accept second place as a winner's trophy for me. That's what I had to realize. So it didn't matter where I lived. It didn't matter what my circumstances were. It didn't matter what type of car I had or house that I had. I didn't have a nice car at the time that I made the decision. I was coming out of 45 days away from foreclosure. I was coming out of repossession. My back was up against the wall at that time. Then I made that decision. Once I made that decision, I never looked back. But I know physically there was an energy difference that I had when I hung around believers, when I hung around people who got bigger beliefs. And so all I'm here to tell you is that you can train your belief. Some of you, it's going to take immediate or what, you know, that impact. Some of you, you're going to do spaced repetition. Some of you, it's going to take emotional impact. And for me, I was emotionally impacted because I just didn't know that I was supposed to. I didn't know that I knew that I was a winner, but I didn't know where to plug the winning plug in. How do I plug this, all of this winning stuff that I got, all of these books that I've read? Some of you out there, you're just like I was. You're MLM OG professors. You can tell us every CV that's out there, every promotion that we've ever ran. You can repeat every diamond's talk, but you still haven't plugged in all that information that you got. And it makes you the same thing that I was. Beautiful potential, intelligent potential. Go plug that thing in somewhere. Okay? Plug that thing in and exercise that belief, because belief is going to be the key. Number 2, belief. Number 1 was belief, okay, raising the bar. Number 2, action. Action is nothing more than what I call behavior practices. What is your behavior? How do you behave? You behave according to your belief. When my belief starts to dwindle, I don't approach sharp, ambitious people. When my belief starts to dwindle, I am no longer motivated. I'm telling you the key elements here, because some of you want to know, how do I change? What do I do now? I'm letting you know what happens. I never forget, and maybe this doesn't relate, but I never forget when Marianne Note said something to me. She said on a training, she talked about the reason you're not thirsty is because your body is dehydrated. And I thought, I don't want water because my body actually needs it. Yeah. And so when I'm thinking that I will get dehydrated when I start craving water. No, you're dehydrated. You know, you don't even want to drink it. You don't even like the way it tastes. Why? because it forces you to go in the same direction that you're already going. And so when your belief is small, it's like you're dehydrated of success principles. You need to show the plan, but you don't want to. You don't want to show the plan. Why? Because you need to. You don't want to prospect. Why? Because you need to. You're dehydrated of customers. You're dehydrated of growth. You're dehydrated of pins breaking. So you don't want to work with someone new. And so, but on the opposite end of that, ladies and gentlemen, and that is when you start to, when you start to be fully hydrated, you crave water. You crave it. Why? Because you don't need it. That's how it works. It's sounds weird, but that's how it works. I don't need to show the plan when I got pins popping every week. I don't need to show the plan. I want to show the plan. Why? Because I know another success story is coming. Well, when I don't want to show the plan and I don't have pins popping, guess what? I don't want to. Why? Because I don't believe that another pin is going to pop. So why put myself in an embarrassing situation to show the plan when I already believe they're not going to get in? So what I'm telling you is that you got a self-perpetuating cycle that either takes you towards your goals or it takes you completely away from them. So for those of you who feeling like, well, woe is me, and I just don't want to show the plan, go show the plan. Go prospect some people. Go sample some people. Go out there and start a brand new behavior of something. This is where you're going to have to take space repetition. Start plugging into some higher belief, some bigger belief, some people who believe bigger than you. And then what's going to happen when that belief starts to expand, the behavior modifications are going to take place and your actions will always chase your belief. When your belief starts growing here, your actions won't be here. Your actions are going to be here. Your belief is going to be here. And as your belief continues to grow, your action is going to continue to grow. And what's going to happen is that no matter what level it is, it's going to feel normal. See, for a person right now who's believing in Sapphire and they're only a VIP, but they're believing here and their actions are here and it's chasing, that belief that they feel, the satisfaction of growth between VIP and Sapphire is no different from the belief of a person who wants to become a crown, but right now they're sitting at emerald. And so that belief is those actions are chasing the belief. You're going to feel the same. It's just that the payoff is going to be different. The payoff is different. This is why I tell you, keep swinging the bat. You keep swinging the bat, you're going to make it. You keep swinging the bat, you are and you will make a connection. Period. End of story. Guys, I am your story. What you see is you see the guy who's got the championship rings. You see the guy who got rings on all these fingers, right? But that's not how it was in the beginning. You don't see the guy who wore, his suits, my suit pants way too high and kept the labels on my suits on my sleeve because I thought that was the style. And I thought that's the way it was supposed to be. The guy who couldn't tie his tie because nobody in my family ever wore ties. Everybody was blue collar workers. You don't see the guy who was shy and would stutter every now and then with a small speech impediment and would get so nervous just walking up to a person wanting to introduce myself and shake their hand. What you see is the guy who's on your computer screen or your mobile phone screen right now, sitting in front of this big, huge 3,500-gallon aquarium and talking about winning and talking about all these victories. That's what you see now. No, I have those things now because I kept swinging the bat. And I started right where you are. And there's not one person out there right now who can come give me a story, a sob story, sad enough for me to sit there and agree with you of why you need to stop swinging the bat. I've been through them. You can't tell, well, this happened to me. Okay, so now we're going to go and compare sob stories. That's another low. Doesn't work that way. Doesn't work that way, guys. What you're going to have to do, start today. Let this be that conference call. Let this be that conference call, just like the one impacted me. I wasn't even supposed to be on that call, but yet again, I was supposed to be on there. I got on there right on time. I was 30 minutes late, but I was perfectly on time. And I heard all that I needed to hear. Actions. Actions. Well, HB, what is it going to take to go diamond? Action. What is it going to take to get my group working again? You taking action. You changing behavior. HB, I don't have anybody registered for UTX, and it's coming up here in February 22nd to the 24th. What? Go to work. Act as if there's nobody in your group and start from scratch and make a goal and a plan to put 20 people at UTX. If you've got nobody in your group right now, you can have 20 people at UTX if it meant enough to you. Nobody said they had to be in the group. Nobody said they had to be prospects. Do you know the way that we've launched the majority of the leaders was prior to them becoming distributors? We would take guests and say, hey, there's a major event. You've got to be there. You've got to see what this company is all about. Come, take a look, be there. And we bring them, and they bring some guests, and they would be ready to sign up. We would have to say, just wait till the end of the event. We're going to get you in. And they would want, hey, how can we take advantage of these specials, these promos? And those people would fire up the people who was already at the event, who was almost, just kind of taking all of this stuff for granted. You can do it if you want to, or nobody wants to go to UTX because they say they've seen 8 of them. Well, go recruit 8 people who's not going to 1. There's a solution to it. Well, how do I go recruit? Go to work. Go to work. How do I go to work? Go back and listen to the beginning of this call. If you are asking how-to questions after this call, listen to this call again. If you've got questions right now that you're about to call your upline about, how do I get out of my funk? How do I go Sapphire? Go back, listen to this call before you call them. You already know how to do it. You sponsored people before. You've done it over and over and over again. You've just done it with low belief. Go back, listen to this call. Actions, 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 actions. 2019, start with the end in mind. Take a look at where do you want your business to be? Where do you want your business to be? December 2019, this year. And then start working it backwards. Do you plan on being diamond? Do you plan on being blue diamond, black diamond? Do you plan on being a ruby or emerald, whatever it is? And start looking as an emerald. How many people do I have coming in as an emerald? Do you even know? Work it backwards. Work the numbers. Have the numbers. I talk about the 4 philosophies of a 7-figure earner. Go listen to that audio. Find that or somewhere here on the OG Academy. Number 1, what do? Make a decision. Decide what it is that you want. Picture it. Picture what you want. Picture, I am a diamond. I am an emerald in December. An emerald typically has somewhere in the neighborhood 175 to 200 people per month coming through their organization when they hit emerald. Typically, you'll find some who are more product oriented. They'll have less number of people coming through their group. Why? Because many of their groups sell a lot of product. You don't need as many people. On the average, I know the numbers, 175, 200 people. 375 to 450, if you're going to be to 400, you're going to be diamond. So if I know that's the number of people that I'm going to have in December, I've got 365 days to get to that point, or 300 and however many days to get to that point. And so I start in December and say, where am I going to be in November? If I'm going to be a Ruby, Ruby's going to have 75 to 100 people a month going through their organization. Yes, 75 to 100 going through your group. That's how many enrollments you typically have the month you go Ruby. Sapphire, 25 to 35 people is what you're going to have to go Sapphire. 25 to 35. So you can have 25 to 35 people go Sapphire by this time next month. Take those people and another 20 prospects apiece, bring them to UTX, have more prospects there than you have in your group. Make sure each person in your group has 2 prospects at UTX. I don't care if it's you 5 people and 10 prospects. You 2 people and 4 prospects. Start somewhere. Stop whining and say, well, what do I do? How do I show the plan? You know how to show the plan. Just show it. There's no fancy way to show the plan. Just show it. Leave out whatever you're going to leave. It don't matter. Guys, I've been all over the country and all over the world showing the plan and left out. I left the compensation plan out. I honestly have shown the plan and forgot to tell them about the compensation. I've shown the plan and forgot to tell them how much it is to sign up. And I look back around, but because of the belief that I presented it with, and all I see is people just enrolling, people enrolling, people enrolling, people getting ready to enroll, they're enrolling, they're enrolling. It's all about belief. If you're going to ask a how-to question, go back and listen to this audio. Actions trail belief. Actions trail belief. Okay? Work on your belief, but also the more you act, the more you work, the bigger your belief is going to get. So your belief is always going to stay out in front of you. It's always going to stay out in front of you, always. But you got to put the actions in. Put the work. How do you spell work? A-C-T-I-O-N. That's how you spell it. Action, 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 action. Work the business. Go do something. I don't care if you mess it up. Go do something. Stop trying to get it all right. Put it all together. Stop trying to corral, all your notes together and go through the notes. And I have a specified time that I read my notes from the Millionaire Call, and this time at 2 o'clock. Guys, if that's you, that's fine, but go work. I've never seen an organized diamond. You don't go diamond by being organized. You go diamond with the plan, and you have planned chaos. Go create some chaos. Raising the bar. B, belief. A, action. I think you get action by now. Action is a behavior. Those are functions of behavior. Changing your behavior. R, results. What are those results? What are those results? I don't know what the results are that you want. I don't know what it is that you're looking for. The thing I can tell you is this, is that I can't believe for you. There's nobody out there who can dream for you, not even God. Nobody can dream for you. The dream is given to you, but you've got to dream it. Your mom can't dream for you. Your daddy can't dream for you. Your husband can't dream for you. Your wife can't. Your kids can't dream for you. Your upline, your crossline, your sideline. They can't dream for you. You've got to be that dreamer. You've got to be the one who dreams the dream. And once you dream that dream, you put those things in action that we talked about. And whatever those results are, they start to show up. See, I can tell you what my results were. I listened to that conference call. I told you 90 days later, I'm at $20,000 a week. You know what that represented? That represented that within the first 2 months, I paid off my car, my vehicle. Because I had just come from 45 days away from foreclosure, $250,000 in debt. They had just repossessed my Lexus. I went out, and the result was I said, I'll never buy another car that somebody actually owns the titles to. I went out and bought myself a used Lexus. I'll never forget, a Lexus LS400. I paid $17,400 for it. Not brand new, used, but I owned it. It was clean. Edwin hated it. Because I put so many miles on that car, and I had my board easel and my projector screen sitting in the back seat. I had that thing in there so many times that the projector screen had an indentation in the seat because of how wide the screen was. I didn't care. I said, I'm gonna drive the wheels off of this thing, and if I drive the wheels off of this, I'll have the money to go buy me another one. And that's what I had. I had a Lexus. But that was a part of my dream. That was a part of my result. My result after that, after dreaming bigger, not only did I pay off the car, I paid off my house. I got out of debt. I owe no man anything. Nobody can come and say, HB borrowed money to pay for this right here. Houses, cars, no mortgages, no car notes. I use American Express, pay it off at the end of every month. And that's not bragging. I'm just telling you what my results were. I was able to go out and buy my mom a house, paid cash for her house, all the furniture cash, bought my dad a car, already his house is paid off, bought my mother-in-law her dream car. Never had a brand new car in her life. He just went out, picked out a car, bought it, took her to lunch, took her to dinner, had a nice purse, $10,000 of cash, just in a nice $5,000 purse with $10,000 in cash in it. She walks outside, she's got a brand new car. It was on Erlene's bucket list. I want to surprise my mom to the point that she cries. Did that. Never saw my dad cry until I was able to go and buy him that Corvette Stingray. No car note. It's because I went to work. I went to work where everybody else is watching TV. See, right? I can watch television and I can watch my programs now because I put in a lot of time to create lifestyle for myself. When I was in my mode of making sure that I could secure a future, Super Bowl was the last thing on my mind. Who was winning and playing? If I wasn't winning, it didn't matter. I'm not telling you to make that choice. I'm just telling you what I did. But I never forget, I got that car, same thing. Took my dad, I bought him a nice Omega watch. Bought him a watch, a nice timepiece, and some other stuff, nice cologne that he always wanted. And we're at dinner, we got all the family there at this dinner. He's turning 60 years old. And we're leaving the dinner, and he was so appreciative. His son threw him this birthday party at a really nice steakhouse. He'd never done that before. We walk outside, and he's pulling his car around, and he's thinking that the valet is pulling his car around, and he walks out and he sees the sign in the window that says, "Happy birthday, Pop." And if you saw the video, you know the emotion that I had. Those are the results. He ran 100 yards away from the car, just running, screaming. Never seen him cry before. That moment, to have that moment and to know that I can impact somebody through my works like that, I'd do it again. That's why I continue to do it over, over again. Have a dream bigger than you. See, when I bought my car cash, it was cool. Nobody can come take it and say, you missed a payment. When I bought his car cash, it felt cool. But when I gave him his car, he wasn't thinking about the money. He wasn't thinking about anything else. All he was relishing in was the fact that he had a car that he never thought he would be able to afford himself. And somebody says, "Here are the keys. Your insurance is paid for life. No car note on this thing." It's not the amount. For some of you, it may be something smaller for your parents. But that's what I wanted. That's what she wanted. What do you want? I dreamed that. That was my dream. I can tell you right now, if I had to take back the memories of what we did for our parents, even when I bought my mom her house, I bought her house, 70 family members inside the house. She had no idea she was coming to visit her own house. We had sent her shopping. We told her, Mom, listen, one of our family members bought a house and they like your taste. Go shop for some stuff for them. She went shopping, buying stuff for the house, and had no idea she was shopping for her own house. And she comes back home, she opens the door, and 70 family members at the same time. Welcome home. And to see her bawl, and to see her cry, and to see her call my name and reach for me and just grasp me and hug me. And it was her dream home. She wanted that house for 5 years. She thought somebody else that bought the house. It was hers. And if I had to take those three things, what we did, my mother-in-law, my dad, and my mom, and take those three and compare them to my, the bugs in my hall, what we call, our home, we call it legacy. I get rid of legacy. Legacy is a far distant 5th place, 6th place in comparison to the little that made such a big difference in their lives. When all your dreams are wrapped up into what it is that you want for you, you'll work hard for a short period of time. But when you do set a dream and you set a goal that is much bigger than you want to do to make an impact in somebody else's life, you'll work a lot to make life in one person's life. And when I figured that out, I was able to connect all of what I had, connect it into the right vehicle, and understand what those results were going to be. Guys, I promise you it's worth it. I promise you it's worth it. Get yourself in gear. Get yourself registered for UTX. Get yourself a work habit starting tonight, not tomorrow. It's late in some places. It's early in some of them. But before you go to bed tonight, do one thing that you can be proud of, and wake up in the morning and celebrate that one thing and then do something else. Just one thing tonight. If you sat down and you hadn't done anything in 6 weeks and your OG business is taking you towards your goal, it doesn't matter. Yesterday's history. Do something tonight. Do something this morning. Call a customer. Call a prospect. I don't care if it's just one. One thing. And then develop a habit. Just like I started with those push-ups. And then every day, I did a little bit more, 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 a little bit more. That could be you. I can't wait to hear your story. I can't wait until you show me your video, because it's great when you do it yourself. I can tell you, it's just as great when you do it for somebody else. Ladies and gentlemen, 2019, let it be your year of workout year and in preparation for 2020 vision. Remember, guys, it's easy, it's simple, it's organo. Love each and every one of you. Thank you so much. Can't wait to see you at UTX. You guys are incredible. See you at the top. Bye-bye.